Are you thinking about getting a new tattoo? This video teaches you the entire tattoo process from beginning to end. Watch this. In this video, I'm basically going to explain the entire process of getting a tattoo and the best ways for you guys to be able to navigate that process so you end up at the very end with an awesome tattoo, which is my entire mission on the channel. So I'm going to start with, you got to just have an idea. So let's start with that. First thing you need, an idea. Okay, so you have an idea in mind. You're thinking about getting this type of tattoo, and the next steps is who's going to do it. So you do a Google search, you find some people in your area, and you start thinking about where you're going to go. The best advice I can give you on that is just do your research. Look at the tattoo portfolios on their website, on their social media, and just decide, is this the same type of things that I would like to see in my tattoos? Tattoo artists are not like plumbers. We don't all just do the same things. We can't all just do the same tattoo. If you ask me to do a certain type of tattoo, sometimes I can do it, but I just don't want to, or I specialize in a different type of tattoo. So be mindful of that. That means look at portfolios, identify which one would be best for the type of tattoo that you're looking for, and ask that artist that does the type of work that you are asking for if they're able to do it for you. The next part of the process is going to be getting the price. So a bit of advice that I try to give whenever I give anybody pointers so that they can get awesome tattoos is show up with a budget in mind. So let's start next. Make sure you have a budget in mind. That's a big part of the process. So price is always going to be where we can say, okay, this person wants a bag of groceries. Price determines which groceries we put in the bag. So when you're saying, I'd like to get this tattoo, I have this many dollars, what can you do? That makes it a lot easier than, hey, I want to get a tattoo. How much? We can't really determine if you like Kobe beef. Maybe you like cheap ground beef. I don't know if you like organic vegetables or canned vegetables. So we kind of need to understand what it is you're asking for. And what I will tell you though, be mindful that this is a tattoo. Be considerate of yourself, that this is not a t-shirt. This is not something you can take off and put a new one on. Give it as much respect as you would a Louis Vuitton purse. If you're going to spend $5,000 on a Louis Vuitton bag, I think it's more feasible for a person to spend that on themselves. You're going to change your own skin for the rest of your life. You should invest into that. So next part of the process, you've found the shop that you like. You've identified the artist that you want to work with. And now you want to know, what do I do next? So you're going to want to set an appointment. So next step, set an appointment. So now that you've done that, you've reached out to the studio, you've reached out to the artist, or you've reached out to their sales team. Whatever may be in front of you, that's the way you have to navigate through it. Put a deposit down. Whenever you set an appointment, you definitely want to show them that you're serious by offering to pay the deposit. And that deposit goes towards your tattoo in most cases, but you should clarify that with the artist or the shop that you're working with just to be clear about it. Now, when you think about the deposit, that is not a payment towards anything other than showing that you're going to be there on time for your appointment, and it's going towards the price of your tattoo usually. If you are not serious about getting your tattoo yet, you should continue researching it until you are and your budget's ready before you step into the shop. Now, the next part of the process is going to be the day of your tattoo. And that's the day where you're nervous and you're ready and you're getting prepared. So let's talk about the day of preparation. So what are you going to do to prepare for your tattoo? Advice that I try to share with my clients whenever I had long sessions ahead of me was make sure that you get a good night's rest. A lot of times people will party, stay out late or whatever, and they crash when they come to get the tattoo because they haven't rested enough. So make sure your body's had plenty of rest the night before. You haven't been out drinking with your frat crew and you're well rested. The next day when you do have the long session, make sure that you've eaten. Make sure you've had a good solid meal. You're not just running off of Doritos and Mountain Dews, but get a good meal down because that's going to help your body be able to deal with the shock of the needle. Like, you are going through some pain and it hurts. So you want to make sure that you're full, and you don't want to be the guy falling over fainting at the tattoo studio, because we've seen that a lot as well. And it's usually from a person that hasn't eaten and they're coming in there on an empty stomach. And as soon as that adrenaline hits, man, they're falling out like a sack of potatoes. So You definitely don't want to be that guy. Another part about the process of getting tattooed is pretty much just going to be about bedside manner and how you come into the studio. A lot of shops don't like when you bring friends, and that's just honest truth, and it's usually because it calls a lot of things into question. Now you have another person there that also has your best interest at heart, that is going to give the artist a little bit of pushback and have them have to move things or give an opinion about the artwork, and it usually makes things a little more difficult for them. But for me, I believe that we should be raising the standard on the industry, so I say the more friends the better. Bring everybody you have, whoever you want to come see the tattoo and experience this with you, and let them be there as moral support for you. If the studio that you're going to doesn't allow guests, of course you have to respect that and follow that artist's individual rules and what they do to be able to get through it. But I can only speak for my own studios, and our motto is anyone with skin is welcome. That includes your friends, your family, your uncles and aunts, and everybody in between, because that's what we're trying to do to change the industry. When we're talking about the tattoo process, the next part of it is the actual tattoo. You want to make sure that you can pace yourself through it. A good thing that I try to tell people so that they don't worry that they might not make it through is nobody would have tattoos if it really hurt that bad. And there wouldn't be all these people running around with awesome, huge tattoos everywhere if it was really that bad. So if they did it, you can totally do it as well. So just be in that mindset that, I can get through this and I'm going to. So you definitely want to make sure that you stay still during the process. That is the most important part of it. It's something that, when it comes to bringing friends and family to the experience with you and you're getting tattooed, be mindful of that. Sometimes you're talking, you're moving around, and the tattoo artist has to chase you, and it's not a very good look. So try to stay still when you're getting tattooed. That comes down to every part. Cell phones, if you're text messaging, texting, FaceTiming, it's probably best to just turn your phone off when you're getting a tattoo, because the artist needs to focus and you need to focus on staying still. So keep that in mind. Another thing, when you're going through the tattoo process, you have to start to think about when the tattoo's finished. How am I going to take care of this new tattoo? There's a lot of conflicting information out here about aftercare, and there's tons of information. The way that we offer it here at my studios is we tell people to wash it with antibacterial hand soap, non-scented like Dio, because it doesn't have fragrances and colors and stuff like that. So it really just cleans the bad stuff out of your tattoo. The next step that we offer people to do is to use Aquaphor. It's a very kind of basic lubricant that they use for diaper rashes and stuff, but it's just for dry skin. It's not specifically for babies or anything like that. Just clean, basic Aquaphor. I put a very small amount, chapstick thin, on there for the first 2 to 3 days so that it starts to heal into your skin. And once you see it start to go underneath, depending on the region that you live in, this may change from place to place because of the humidity, but you can go to a drier heel after that and switch to a non-scented lotion like Lubriderm. Anything with less fragrances, less smells or perfumes or colors is definitely going to be better for your tattoo, and it's going to let it heal better over time. You definitely want to pay attention the first few days the most, because that's when you're more prone to getting an infection. Something else while we're talking about infections is that is on the client. If the artist broke your skin open and used all the correct tools, which every artist on the planet is doing, they are super cheap and nobody should be reusing in 2021 anything. So if you get an infection, it's because you got the tattoo and as soon as you left, something changed. And that could be laying in a dirty bed where your dogs and cats live with you and sleep. Maybe they were outside rolling around in the dirt. They come in the bed, you're home now, you're laying your new tattoo in it, and that's how you get infections. So be very careful about what you do when you leave the shop. There has been a common misconception in the tattoo world on our side that we cause infections, and it is not us that does that. It's the aftercare. So be careful with how you take care of your tattoo when you leave. If you're treating it like it's not important and you're leaning on dirty trash cans and dumpsters, you're going to get an infection. That's not the shop's fault. That's not the artist's fault. So that part of the process is also pretty high on the priority list. You want to heal the tattoo really well so that it looks good for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And another part of that, use sunscreen. Sunscreen is a huge part of the process, so make sure that as you're starting to wear these tattoos out into the sun and getting exposure to them, that you're using some type of sunscreen. Even if it's a low SPF like 15, it'll help. But sun breaks these tattoos down over the years, and man, I've seen some tattoos really fade. So make sure you take care of yours, because you spent all that money on the investment and you've gone through so much pain and things like that. You definitely want to make sure you're taking care of it so that it looks good forever. And if there's any other questions that you guys can think of about the process that you specifically would like to know some answers to, I ask you now to leave them in the comments so that I can go through and see what I can do on the next video to help you guys understand the process. We're just explaining all this stuff to you so you kind of understand the do's and don'ts sometimes, so that you get a better tattoo at the end of it. But I hope that helped you guys understand a little bit about the process and kind of understanding some things that you can do to get a better tattoo. So my name is Nando Mondragon. I go as the Tattoo Insider, and I hope you guys learned something from that video today, and that you subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to share this stuff with you, and hopefully you can use some of the tools that we've given today to get yourself a better tattoo process at the end.
What do you want to watch?
Yeah.